bw'olaba ekifaananyi kino ojjukira ki? Kitunuulire okyetegereze. Oyo gw'olaba mu kifaananyi ye Maduro, ebadde president ow'amaanyi ow'eggwanga erya Venezuela, nga ayogera ensi n'ekankana. Kakati nno ekifaananyi kino ky'olaba nkireese okujjukiza nti abazungu balina obujulizi bwe bajja bwe bafulumizza, ng'obujulizi buno bulumika president w'e Uganda General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Era ng'obujulizi buno bukakasa nti General Museveni amaze ebbanga ddene ng'akolagana ne Maduro ono gw'olaba, era mbu ng'amawa amagezi ku nsonga nnyingi ez'obwa dictator. Abantu abadde bawambibwa, abadde battibwa, abadde bakolebwako ebikolwa mu ggwanga erya Venezuela, nga General Museveni mbu awaayo obukodyo amagezi kw'ono Maduro. Kati nga abazungu kye bagamba nti okuvannyuma lw'okuba nga bazudde bwino oyo yenna n'ebikolwa byadde bikolebwa nga ku magezi ga Museveni ne Museveni mbu ng'abyenyigiddemu, kakati basazeewo naye ekyakulwa Maduro kye kiba kimukolwa bamunone bunnambiro. Era nga bagamba nti ebikolero byakola ku Bobi Wine, ebikolero byakola ku bannayuganda ne Maduro bw'ati babadde ajja akola ewaabwe, ng'ensi esirise naye ku luno ensi yasituse n'atwalibwa. Kati abadde babevenganga basirise nga bagamba nti General Museveni obujulizi bwonna buvudde bwa kukunala nga alina omukono munene nnyo ku bikolwa bibadde bikolebwa Venezuela ne mu ggwanga lya Amerika nga bivadde Venezuela. N'olwekyo bwe basinzidde okuba nga naye bamwetaaga agoberere munne, very soon bamunone bamutwale ewali munne. Daga wetegereze owulirize ebigambo bino ogenda kumanya nti General Museveni anytime from now Maduro we process by process.
And I have witnessed that after proof of torture, political prisoners, persecution, killings, forced disappearances, massive protest, massive exile, I have seen with my eyes and heard with my ears the countries that stand up to defend the regime of Nicolás Maduro. I have seen Iran, China, Eritrea, Zimbabwe, Uganda, North Korea, going one after the other, just supporting the atrocities.
Agambye Uganda, North Korea, Nazmenya, Uganda,
committed by the regime of Nicolás Maduro. And it's like an orchestra. When they come here and reports are presented, they support each other. We need to make the distinction between the people that make the reports, the NGOs, the professionals that go to the ground and risk their lives. Many of them work for the UN. But after they present those reports, unfortunately, nothing happens. Nothing happens. It's like an orchestra that is not heard. We have seen with shock and with joy, in the case of Venezuela, the capture of Nicolás Maduro, the head of a criminal organization that was torturing and subjecting our country of millions of people on January the 3rd. Venezuelans celebrated with joy. More than 80% of the Venezuelan people celebrated the capture of Nicolás Maduro. But very early, we started to hear some objections. Objections with words that become common in these halls. Objections saying that what was done capturing a criminal responsible for thousands of people being killed, disappearances, thousands of people being sent to prison, massive exile, saying that his capture was a war crime. We also heard objections saying that what happened in Venezuela was a violation of sovereignty. A violation of sovereignty in a country that a year and a half ago celebrated the most sacred of all sovereignties, which is the sovereignty of the people. It's bewildering to hear people talk about sovereignty of a dictator and not defending the sovereignty of the people that voted, and we were able to prove that those were the results, and then they defend the stability of the dictator. We have heard claims about international law. People nervous about breaking the international law because of the capture of a dictator, of a criminal. The international law that did not support millions of Venezuelans while they were being victims of the crimes committed by Nicolas Maduro and his regime. So unfortunately, this international structure, these international laws, these international and multilateral buildings are not delivering to the people. They are certainly not delivering to the voices sitting here in this room today. And we have heard once and again from one country to the other that we are frustrated because it's only words, it's only paper, it's only tears, but no action. The world requires action. And we got action in Venezuela. And we celebrate that action. We celebrate the action led by the United States. And let me tell you something that might be shocking to many. More than 60% of the people in Latin America, not Venezuela, of Latin America, celebrate the capture of Nicolas Maduro. So something is happening. Something is happening. Maybe people are not listening, but the people that maybe 10 or 20 or 30 years ago had flags against the United States, today they were celebrating that Nicolas Maduro was captured. Iranians celebrated. I was in a call that day with my friend Bobby Wine. He was in the middle of an election. He called me. He was in his rally. And he said, let's go live. We went live. And he was saying in his rally, the same way Maduro left, Museveni is going to live. But what was the fate of Bobby Wine? The same fate that we had in Venezuela. He won the election, and the election was stolen. And we can go over and over with many of the other cases. But let me go back to Venezuela. Many people ask us, how are things in Venezuela? Simple, much better than they were on January the 2nd. Much better than they were on January the 2nd. But not where we hope them to be. They are not where we hope them to be. Because for years we have been fighting for an idea that for some it's theoretical. For us, it's vital. We have been fighting for freedom. And we understand what freedom is. Not from theory, not from poetry, not from music. We learned what freedom is. I myself did when I was in a solitary confinement cell for 4 years and condemned to confinement for 7 years. And I understood that freedom is not one thing. Freedom is the sum of many things. Freedom is the possibility to do what I'm doing today that I cannot do in my country, to speak. Freedom is the possibility to move around. Freedom is the possibility to gather with whomever you want to gather. Freedom is the possibility to wear what you want to wear. In the case of Iran, Afghanistan, if women want to wear the hijab or not to wear it. Freedom is the possibility to believe in whoever you want to believe or not to believe if you don't want to believe. And we just heard that there are hundreds of thousands of prisoners because of their belief. And freedom cannot happen without democracy. And democracy cannot happen without elections. So what we hope for, and what we are fighting for, and what we will deliver to the people of Venezuela, and what is the main responsibility of the Venezuelan leadership led by the legitimate elected president Edmundo González Urrutia, and the legitimate leadership of Maria Corina Machado, is to go to the people through a free and fair elections for the Venezuelan people to make that transition to democracy. That is our hope, that is our dream, that is our commitment, and that will be the good news that we will deliver to all of you. And we will know, and I'll end with this, that when Venezuela transitions to democracy, Cuba will transition to democracy, Nicaragua will transition to democracy, and the impact will be felt in Africa, in Asia, in Eastern Europe, and in the Middle East, because this fight, my dear friends, it's a global fight for freedom. So long live freedom, long live the political activists, the human rights defenders, and the women and the men that believe and give their lives to freedom, human rights, and democracy. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much. Wansanyudde nti engeri Maduro gye yagendamu ne Museveni gyagenda okugendamu, ebikobero Maduro byabadde akola ne General Museveni byali mu kukola. Abantu basanyufu ku lwekyo ekyakolwa America ne Luwamba Maduro. Agambye abantu bonna abamu Latin America oba semazinga wa South America, abantu bonna abali eyo bajaguza okukwatibwa kwa Maduro kubanga yali afuuse ekinkekenke. ne bannayuganda I'm pretty sure bajja kujaganya bana East Africa bana Africa n'ensi yonna ejja kujaganya olunaku General Museveni lwali kwatwanga Maduro n'atwalibwa okubitebya. Ensi yonna ejja kujaganya kubanga buli muntu ali mbulumi, buli muntu ali mu nnaku olw'ebikolwa bya General Museveni byakola ku bannayuganda, era ng'ebibuuzo bingi biri mu kwebuuzibwa. Tunabitereza ddi? Tunatereza tutya eggwanga ffe tuddiza obuyinza bw'ensi yaffe ne buva mu mikono gy'abantu abamu abatumazeeko eddembe? Lowooza mu nfuna. Kale gwe lindirira essaawa yonna Madulo we etuukako mu ggwanga Uganda. Buli boogera ku Kyagulanyi, my friend Kyagulanyi, his vote was stolen. We need to arrest that. Gwe tebakwata jjajja mwami. Tunaabiwulira.